heat and weather. Okay, heat and weather. It's from Unit 3. Okay, concept 2. Okay, and this activity is talking about extreme weather, floods, and sandstorm. And also Unit 4, concept 1. All concept 1, okay, is included, and concept 2 till activity 4. Okay, so let's summarize this part together. Activity 8 is talking about the extreme weather, floods and sandstorm, and the drought. So you must know the difference between them. The drought is the shortage of water that is available for drinking, for growing crops, for farming animals and industry. Okay, but the flooding, it's the increase in the flow of water over the edges of riverbank and onto the land around the river. Okay, we have, of course, reasons for the drought, okay, and reasons for the flooding. The reasons of the drought, the very dry hot weather for a long period of time, okay, the extreme hot temperature, extreme hot weather, okay, and dry weather for a long period of time, okay, can cause drought. But the flooding occurred due to what? Due to increase in the rate of the rainfall that happens every 2 years. Okay, will cause the water flows over the edges of the riverbanks, so the floods will happen. Okay, so the drought and the flooding, okay, we can compare between them well. And we have also sandstorm. The sandstorm, okay, or dust storm occurs when very strong winds blow up sand or dust, or both of them, from a dry area as deserts. Okay, and focus please. We have harms of floods, of course, and harms of sandstorm, and harms of drought, of course. Okay, but the only one that has advantage is the floods. Yani, we have harms of floods like damaging of building, like death of people and animals, like harming of economy. We have harms of drought like death of living organisms because of decreasing of the amount of water. Okay, and we have harms of sandstorm, okay, like the dust can harm the human eyes, the respiratory system, the dust can damage the plane engines, and so on. Okay, but the floods, the only extreme weather, okay, that has harms and also has advantage. The advantage of floods, some ecosystems depend on periodic floods, such as ecosystem along the Nile. Okay, so don't forget this information, please. Then we have Unit 4, okay, concept 1, which is talking about the adaptation. So you must know the meaning of adaptation. What the meaning of adaptation? It's the process that helps the living organism to survive or to live in the environment in which they live. Okay, it's a very, very important definition, the definition of adaptation. And then we have types of adaptation. What are the two types of adaptation? Structural adaptation and behavioral adaptation. Structure, which is related to the body, okay, like the thorns of the stem of some plants, like the thick fur. And we have another type, which is called what? Behavioral adaptation, which is related to the behavior, like bird migration and the growth of some plants toward the sunlight. The bird migration, what the meaning of migration? A group of animals or group of birds move together from one place to another seasonally, and often they return to the place from they or stored it, and so their cycle of migration is repeated. Examples of migratory birds like what? Like steppe eagle. Of course, we have reasons for the bird migration, for searching what? For searching the best conditions of food, different food resources, okay, best conditions of weather, and so on, so they can survive and they can reproduce also. Okay. Migratory birds in Egypt, like what? Like falcons and eagle. Okay, and we have places in Egypt, okay, that are considered from the important stopover, okay, like what? Red Sea and Nile River. The Red Sea and Nile River. Okay. Also, we have some reasons or some factors that attract the migratory birds to Egypt, like what? Like the moderate winter climate, like the area of Red Sea, for example, contains many or different environments, like what? Like coastal environment, marine environment, and also mountain environment. Okay, let's go now to activity 3 in the same concept. We have some needs that any living organism need them, like what? Like food, like water, like habitat. Okay, we have also factors, okay, that can affect the growth of the living organism, like environmental factors, and from its name, environmental factors that are related to the environment, like availability of water, availability of sunlight, the size of habitat. If the water, for example, and the sunlight are available, so any living organism can grow well and survive. But if the size of the habitat is very large, so the number of different species that live in one place will increase. And the reverse will happen if the size of habitat is very small. Okay, and we have also genetic factors. So we have environmental factors that are related to the environment, like availability of water, of sunlight, and size of habitat. And we have genetic factors or hereditary traits, okay, from its name, that are related to the genes. Okay, genetic factor, for example, the body size of animals. Number 2, the length of plants. Number 3, the fur color of animals. Okay, going to activity 4 of the same concept here. Each environment has its specific climate. Of course, the climate in polar regions, for example, differs from the climate in South Africa, for example. Okay, so each environment has its specific climate, so different types of animals and plants with traits help them to survive in their environment. Okay, we have different types of animals. Of course, the animals that can live in polar regions differ than the animals that can live in hot regions. Okay, like emperor penguin and African penguin. The emperor penguin, okay, live in very cold region, okay, but the African one, okay, live along the coast of South Africa. So the adaptation of the emperor penguin, it has thick blubber, thick fatty layer, and its skin is covered with dense feathers, okay, to keep its body warm in Antarctica, okay. But African penguin here, okay, lives along the coast of South Africa. So the adaptation of them is what? Around each of its eyes, they have a circle of skin that doesn't have any feathers completely. Why? To help its body cool fast in hot weather. Okay, because African penguin, okay, is living in hot weather, but emperor penguin is living in very cold weather. So the emperor will have thick blubber and the skin covered with dense feathers, but the African penguin, okay, has a circle around their eyes that doesn't have any feathers. Okay. And we have also some examples of adaptation, okay, like what? Like Arctic fox. The Arctic fox lives in Arctic environment, and the Arctic fox has thick white fur. Why? To warm its body. The lizard, for example, okay, lizard lives in desert environment, and its adaptation, which is a structure, by the way, which is related to its body. Okay, its body is covered with sandy colored scales. Why? What's the reason? To hide among the rocks in the desert. Okay, and we have also adaptation of plains. Of course, the structure of the desert plains, okay, differs from any ordinary plains. Okay, the plains in desert environment, for example, the plains that are living in Egypt's western desert, okay, like acacia tree, palms, Fuentia, spiny shrubs, and the grasses. Okay, what's the adaptation that we can see in these plains? Number 1, the size. Most of them are usually small and herbal. The roots, most of them have short extended roots, okay, to absorb any available water. And also have another type of roots in the desert plant, okay, that the roots that are very long and deep to absorb the groundwater. So we have two types of roots here in the desert plant. Number one, short extended root, okay, to take or to absorb any available rainwater. And we have another type of roots that are very deep, okay, to absorb the groundwater. Okay, leaves, some of them have thick leaves to store water, okay, and stem also they are thick also to store water. Okay, some plants have thorns or have spines. Why? Okay, to keep away from any herbivore animal. Herbivore, what the meaning of herbivore animals or herbivores? The animal that eat plants. Okay, so these plants, some of them have spines, okay, to keep these animals away from them. Okay, activity 5, abiotic factors and adaptation. We have two types of ecosystem, maybe small ecosystem, small area of land between buildings that contain grass, insects and weeds, and we have large ecosystem like Arctic region, for example. Okay, any ecosystem, whether it's small or large, okay, contains biotic factors and abiotic factors. The biotic factors, they are living organisms, okay, in an ecosystem like human, like animals, like plants. The abiotic factors, they are non-living things like sunlight, like air, like water, like soil, temperature, and precipitation. Okay. The effect of abiotic factors on the living organism, likewise, the effect of the water and sunlight, for example, if the water and sunlight are available, so the living organism can grow and survive well, can grow well and survive. Okay, and if the reverse happens, the reverse will happen. Okay, we know that the desert, okay, are the most extreme environments on the earth. Why? Because all of the conditions in the deserts are extreme. يعني extreme hot weather, extreme cold weather, okay, extreme limited amount of water and so on. So we have here two types of deserts, hot desert and cold one. The hot, from its name, the weather is very hot, okay, and the water is it's very limited. Okay, we have small pools of water, okay, are formed inside the rocks, and this water, okay, will be evaporated after short period of time because of hot weather. Some plants which live in this environment have long roots. Why? To get deep groundwater, and other plants have short extended one to take or to absorb the rain water, as we said before. But the cold desert, from its name, okay, it's a desert biome that its temperature are cold all of the year. Okay, its temperature in winter go below freezing or below zero. Okay, like Antarctica. Okay, its temperature in short summer reach maximum 21. Okay, so the summer in these deserts is short, and the maximum temperature, okay, the maximum temperature in summer 21, but in winter, okay, below zero. Activity 6 here, it's talking about the light. The light is environmental factor. We said before that the sunlight is very important for the living organism. If we talk about the plant needs sunlight to make the photosynthesis process, right? The photosynthesis process. Okay, so the plant's growth is affected by the sunlight, but it is affected by two things that are related to the sunlight. Like what? Number one, the intensity or the quantity of light. Yeah, if the light or if the sunlight is its amount is suitable or its intensity is suitable, so the plant can grow well and survive. But if the sunlight is too intense, the weather is too sunny, okay, no, it's bad thing for the plants. It's bad thing for any living organism, but we are talking about the plants now. Okay, it's very bad. Why? Because these intense light can cause damage of the plant, can cause drying of it, can cause burning of the plants. Okay, so number one, the intensity or quantity of light is very important and can affect the growth of plants. Number two, the duration of light. What the meaning of duration? Duration means amount of time or period, amount of time that a plant is exposed to light affects, of course, it can affect the plant growth. Yani if the plant is exposed to long period of time of sunny weather, suitable sunny weather, so the plants can grow well and can survive and also can produce or bear fruits. Okay, so the duration of light is very important, and some plants can give fruits and can bear fruits or give fruits when the day is longer than the night. The day, يعني نهار. The day is longer than the night in summer. So some plants can give, some flowering plants can give fruits and can grow in when the day is longer than the night in some environment. But we have exception here. We have another plants that can give us fruits when the day is shorter than the night, like what? Like chrysanthemum. It's a name of plant. Chrysanthemum or chrysanthemum. Okay. Activity 7, we are talking about the inheritance of traits in living organisms. Okay, examples of inherited traits, like if I'm talking about the human, eye color, nose shape, hair color, and so on. In animals, fur color, fur length, and so on. In plants, plant length, shape of leaves, and so on. Let's talk about the animals. We have, for example, two types of cats, Burman cat and Sphinx cat. The Burman cat, okay, both of them are cats. The Burman cat has long silky hair with different colors, but the Sphinx cat, it doesn't have any hair, or may have only very fine hair. Okay, if I ask you, give reason about this point. Although Burman and Sphinx are cats, there is no Sphinx cat that has long hair, for example, like Burman cat. Why? Because the Sphinx cat doesn't have the genetic factor for long hair, doesn't have the genes for long hair, okay, which is found in Burman cat. Okay, if I talk about the plants in desert again, okay, we know that the weather in the desert is very hot. Okay, so the traits of the plants, okay, are very special, and the inherited traits help plants in desert adapt to survive in extreme conditions. Okay, if I have a plant in the desert and this plant will give, after a period of time, new plant, the new plant will have the traits of the parent cat, but it may be stronger, it may be better than the parent traits. Why? Okay, to adapt to the hard conditions of the weather. So each generation of plants become more stronger and become more able to adapt due to inherited traits, which transfer from parent plants to their offspring. What the meaning of offspring? Offspring means new babies or new individuals, okay, that comes from or comes after reproduction process. Okay, activity 8, factors that influence human growth and behavior development. Of course, we have some factors that affect the human growth and health behavior development, like what? Lifestyle choice, like environmental factors and genetic factors. Number one, lifestyle choices. If you choose the bad habits, okay, in your life, of course, your health will be affected negatively. Like what? Like smoking, like eating a diet full of chips, like drinking soda, and so on. But if you choose good habits, like eating healthy food and doing exercise, okay, your health will be, of course, will be better. Okay, and we have another factors which are environmental, which are related to the environment, and you will not have any control or any ability to control it. Like healthcare, if the healthcare is not available, of course your health will be affected badly. Like water, the water may be far away or unsafe to drink, like difficulty to obtain food, like sanitation service. If the sanitation service is not available, okay, it can cause spreading of different disease. Finally, the genetic factors. The genetic factors, okay, can control the transfer of inherited traits from your parents to offspring. The genes carry inherited traits from your parents to or from parents to offspring. So genes are responsible for determining the body features, like what? Like the way your ear loops hang, like the length of your fingers, like how tall are you, like your eye color, your hair color, and so on. So the genetic factors and environmental factors and lifestyle choices, all of them can affect the human growth and can affect the behavior development. Okay, the last part that is included in your exam, okay, concept 4.2, which is talking about the soil, okay, activity 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, if we talk about the types of soil, what the meaning of soil for first? Okay, the soil, it's the loose layer or the delicate skin which covers the earth crust. Okay, we have different types of soil. What are the types of soil? Sand soil, silt soil, and clay soil. We have differences between them and also similarities. Difference, all of them have different colors, different textures. Okay, the size of soil particles may be large, may be medium, may be small, but the similarities between the sand and salt and clay soil, okay, all types of soil are composed of natural components. All of them are composed of natural components. All types of soil keep the life on earth. All types of soil are important. Okay, so the soil, now as we said before, it's the loose or delicate the loose layer or delicate skin which covers the earth crust. And we have another definition of soil. The soil is a basic factor for all natural ecosystem on earth. Without soil, okay, there will be no life on the earth. Why? Because without soil, so no plant will be planted or will grow, so no the animals will not find any plants to eat, so the animals will not find another animals to eat. Okay, so the soil is a basic factor for all natural ecosystem on earth. The soil is formed of what? Is formed of some ingredients or some components such as sand, gravel, minerals, okay, which are formed due to the breaking down of rocks through the weathering process. And the soil also has organic materials like dead plants, and the soil also has living organisms and water. Some living organisms make their homes in soil, like worms, like insects, and so on. Okay, activity 4, how does the soil form? Okay, as we have studied, okay, the weathering and erosion are two main processes in the formation of different landforms of earth. Okay, what the meaning of weathering? Weathering means breaking down of rocks into very small pieces, but erosion, transferring back of these small parts from place to another. Okay, the soil will not be formed without weathering and without erosion. So weathering must happen and erosion happen, okay, to form the soil. Okay, the composition of soil, the importance of soil first. The soil is important or not? The soil is very important. The soil is important for the plants that people and animals feed on to survive. The soil provides the plant with its basic needs for growth. Okay, why? As soil contains air, the soil contains water, the soil contains nutrients. Okay, and also the soil is home to many different living organisms such as worms, such as insects, fungi and bacteria. Okay, طب what about the composition of soil? The soil is a mixture, okay, we said before, the soil is a mixture of different materials. Okay, if we use hand lens and discover the structure or the composition of soil, you can see small pieces of rocks, small pieces of leaves, branches of trees, other dark colored materials. Okay, and also we have other components that you cannot see it with your eyes, that you cannot see them with your eyes. All types of soil are composed of inorganic. All types of soil, we have three types: sand, clay, and silt soil. All types of soil are composed of inorganic ingredients and organic ingredients. Inorganic, okay, they are non-living components like air, like water, like rocks and minerals. Okay, the organic ingredients, like what? They are living component of soil, okay, like remain of dead plants and animals. Okay, if I ask you about the difference between the rocks and minerals, the rocks are composed of different types of minerals. The minerals, they are the building units of rocks again. So the rocks are composed of minerals. The minerals, they are the building units of rocks. Okay, how inorganic materials, okay, اللي هي non-living things of soil formed. Number one, the weathering will happen. احنا قلنا يعني ايه weathering? The weathering is the breaking down of rocks into small pieces, right? And then the erosion happen. The small pieces of rocks will move from place to another. Okay, and then the deposition process happen. The deposition means small pieces of rocks بقى will deposit and mix with other ingredients, forming different types of soil. Okay, طب how organic materials of soil formed? Okay, number one, the decomposers play an important role in keeping the balance of the ecosystem. Without decomposers, okay, so the balance will not happen in the ecosystem. Why? As they clean the environment by decomposing the dead organism. Where decomposers recycle the remains of dead plants and animals into chemical nutrients. The chemical nutrients such as what? Such as carbon, such as nitrogen, oxygen, which are released into soil, released into water, released into air, that helps in the flowing of energy, okay, in the environment again. Then the decomposers break down the organic materials of dead organisms into components rich with nutrients, which called what? Humus. Okay, so again, the decomposers break down the organic material of dead organism into components rich with nutrients. Okay, these components which are rich with nutrients are called what? Humus, which increases the soil fertility that helps the plant to grow. Okay, finally we have different types of soil, as we said. Okay, sand soil, silt soil, and clay soil. If we compare between the particles or the size of particles, okay, in them, the sand has large particles, the salt has medium particles, and the clay has small particles. Okay, if I ask you about the minerals and organic materials represent about half of the most types of soil. So most types of soil contain what, or is considered what? Minerals and organic materials. The other half of soil consists of space between the particles of the soil, known as pore space or pores. Okay, where each pore space is filled with water and filled with air. Okay, the final note here, okay, we can say size of particles in the soil or size of granules. So if you see the granules word, okay, you will know that the granules means particles. Okay, and if the size of the particles and the amount of different inorganic materials differ, so the appearance and texture of the soil will be changed. The ability of soil to keep the water will be changed. The ability of soil to allow roots to grow will be changed. So the size of particles and the amount of different inorganic ingredients, okay, can affect what? Can affect the texture of the soil, can affect the ability to keep the water, and can affect the ability to allow roots to grow.